Hello my friends, greetings from Rome, Italy. Last week I spent 3 days in Naples. Absolutely loved it. Did some stock photography and some video there, and also really enjoyed doing street photography. In my previous episode I shared some images I did in Naples in street photography at night. Today I want to talk about different kind of street photography, street portraits. Street portraits used to be a big part of classic street photography. And when we see work of old masters of street photography, we see amazing pictures of people on the street and learn our history through these images. Now, after explosive growth of photography in the last 20 years, people are much more aware of photography, and photographers to some degree lost their magical status. I love doing street photography. It's my personal work. I don't really make any money with these pictures. It allows me to introduce myself to local communities during my travel, to better understand life around me. It's not always easy, but I find results very rewarding. When I'm talking about street portraits, I'm talking about engagement of a person I photograph, not just grabbing a shot with long telephoto lens. It creates completely different level of image, where I'm not simply showing action of a person, but I can look in their eyes and to show some of their character and personality. Of course, approaching complete stranger and asking permission to photograph, especially at close-up, is challenging. I usually make an eye contact and I smile, and then if I feel the response is positive, then I will ask for permission. Sometimes people will say no. Then I will excuse myself and look for another opportunity. I absolutely don't take it personally. It's perfectly normal. I did some portraits in Rome, and when I was in Naples, I was thrilled with positive reaction of people around me to my camera. On my last day, before I got onto my evening train back to Rome, I walked the streets of Naples and photographed portraits of people. Here are a few of my images and their stories. I walked by a butcher store and I saw this guy standing there, huge butcher, but with very kind of kind and smiley face. And I asked him if I can take a picture. And he was very pleasantly surprised, smiled at me and said, just a moment, went away, grabbed his dad and brought to the store. He was standing outside. And I just like this combination of pictures. The son is obviously huge compared to small father, but there is enough communication between them, and they were just so natural and so kind. I really like this picture. On one of the streets I saw this man standing in the middle of the street, and he was curious about me walking with my camera. So I thought, okay, I'll ask him to take a picture. He immediately agreed. I mean, he was thrilled that I will take his picture. I took his picture, then he called his wife. It was an apartment on the first floor, asked me if I want some coffee. I got a little cup, tiny cup of coffee, and we talked. I mean, I don't speak any Italian. He didn't speak any English whatsoever, but I understood quite clearly that a lot of people in his neighborhood have relatives living in the United States. And we had this short conversation. I thanked him for coffee and for the picture and moved on. And then, of course, I was walking around in circles, so I kind of scanned the same neighborhood again and again, and I bumped into him again, but with his friend. So he immediately introduced me, like basically I was his friend, and asked me to take their picture. And I got this nice shot. I like the feeling between them too. When Italians talking to each other, sometimes it looks like they're arguing. Obviously they're not always, but they just kind of very high energy conversation. And this guy was talking to another guy, and it was pretty loud, and they were waving their hands, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to take a picture, but I really liked his face. So when his friend walked away, I looked at him and asked for a picture, and his face changed like dramatically from a little bit grumpy kind of face. He went to really happy, and he posed for that, and I really like his eyes. He's obviously a very clever person. There is some depth in his eyes. I saw this young man sitting on a bunch of boxes with vegetables near the store. I like his whole demeanor. It's something, I don't know, romantic about it. I saw a window of a bakery and it had bars on the window, so I kind of put my face against the bars and I stick my camera in. And then this guy came around and I asked him if I can take a picture. And he and a few more people in the store were like, "Oh, sure, take a picture." He was making me pie crusts and he just looked at me, smiled at me very nicely. When I finished, I thanked him, and he was also very grateful. Nobody even asked me to look at the pictures. The people were just happy that I paid my attention and I took their photograph. My setup was Sony a7 III with 85 f1.8 lens, shot on aperture priority at 2.8. I also like to put plus 2/3 of a stop compensation for skin brightness. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon.